Welcome back to this component of Module 4 in the Spotlight sessions. This is Lisa Robbin Young, and today we are going to continue our discussion on who your perfect fit customers are. Specifically, though, we're going to dig into delivery models. And what we want to get to now is this wonderful equation of what is the transformation, how are you delivering it. That's your offering, because that's where you get clear on valuing your products and services, valuing what it is that you offer in the marketplace, being able to put a price on whatever it is that you're offering that makes sense. I'm giving you a few general categories here. You've got experiential delivery that's done in person, things like live events, one-on-one, sales calls, those kinds of things. Experiential virtual, where you do it online through a video camera, a webinar, a phone call. Physical delivery, where a truck actually delivers something to their house, whether it's via mail or you deliver it yourself in person. Digital delivery, which is again done online, or hybrid delivery. And I will tell you that hybrid delivery is becoming very, very popular in recent years because the cost of delivering things digitally is so minuscule compared to physical delivery. So to be able to offer something hybrid, i.e., I'm going to teach a class live, and then when it's over, you're going to be able to download the videos and watch it afterwards, or for an added upcharge, you can also have the DVDs so that you can take them anywhere. That's a hybrid delivery model. And I'm not going to get specific on any of these because for every idea that I could come up with, there are probably 20 or 30,000 more that you could imagine for yourself. But what it really comes down to is that it's not your job to tell your perfect fit customers how to consume it, but to make sure that they do consume it. This quote is from Scott Stratton, and it's based on an experience that he had where he was in the music industry and he had a promoter who was passing out VHS videotapes and cassette tapes in an era when it was quite popular to be using CDs and DVDs. And he asked this guy, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, in this particular genre of music, this is what the fans are using to swap music, to communicate with one another. This is their method of consumption." And Scott looked at this guy like he was crazy, and the guy said to him, basically, "Hey, it's not my job to tell them how they're going to consume it. I just want them to consume it." And that's where Scott got this message. So I want you to remember this, because the approach that you think has been tried and true for years and always done may work, but it may not be as effective as something else. And so I want you to always be asking, what is the right method for me? And not just what is the right method for you, but what is the right method for you in terms of what your perfect fit customers will consume. And here's what I mean by that. You need to be willing to think differently about how you serve your perfect fit clients, and you need to do that by looking at how you work best, as well as what it is that they will use. And here's a short little example. You may never want to leave your house. That may be what would work best for you, is to stay in your house and never leave and be able to do everything from the comfort of your living room. Okay? So you need to understand that filter. If you could have your way, you would work from home and you would never leave your house. But will your clients actually use that? If you're a podiatrist, maybe not so much. Maybe you actually have to have an office and go somewhere, or you have to have an office in your house to have them come see you. But if you're doing online marketing or you're teaching something in the online world, maybe you really can do everything from your living room and never have to leave. So you need to look at both of those. Not only what's going to be best for you, but what's going to be best for, or what will work for, your perfect fit customers. So be thinking about that, because it's going to come back up. Here's an example of thinking out of the box. Doctor on Demand is this ingenious application that works for smartphones and tablets, where you can reach out to a real doctor in a matter of minutes and get a consultation for a nominal fee. This flies in the face of everything we've ever known about doctors and working with doctors. So let's look at the traditional method. The traditional method is I'm sick, I go to the doctor's office, I sit around, I wait, I get on a list, I wait some more. Then they call me in and I wait some more, and then finally the doctor comes in for like 12 seconds, tells me that there's nothing wrong with me, that I've got a cold, writes me a prescription, maybe just tells me to go home and drink lots of fluids, and then I have to plunk down $150 or $30 or $20 or $80 for my doctor visit. And if I haven't met my copay for the year, then I got to pay more. Only to find out that all I had was a cold and I could have, saved myself hours of waiting and all of that money if I'd had something like Doctor on Demand. So the problem that we've experienced in the traditional method is, as a perfect fit customer, we have a lot of waiting and a lot of expense for what might turn out to be a minor thing. The other problem that you don't see that the doctors experience is they have these times where clients don't show. And so they've got downtime in their practice and they're not making money. So the transformation that Doctor on Demand provides is the opportunity for you, the consumer, to talk to a real doctor right now wherever you are. One of the great examples they used on their website was a guy hurt his knee and it was swollen so bad he couldn't get up off the couch to go to a doctor, but he knew he needed to see one. And he didn't have the money to pay for a cab to come pick him up and drag him out of his apartment and take him down the stairs and drive him to... He just didn't have that. So he used Doctor on Demand, found out what was wrong with his knee, and dealt with it. And it saved him a ton of money, a ton of time, and a ton of effort. So there's this great transformation, and their delivery method is video conferencing. Via Skype or an application on your smartphone or your tablet, you can talk to a doctor. The doctor can look you over. The doctor can give you a preliminary diagnosis or at least a consultation based on the information that you've given them. And I don't know all the details about whether or not they write prescriptions or not, but they can give you, in a matter of minutes, the information that you need. If it's just a cold, if it's just, you need to go rest for 3 hours, it's saving you a lot of time and energy, and they're filling up the empty space in their practice. When you have an inappropriate distribution of time and resources, this gives them the ability to fill up some of that time and space with their resources, make some money in a spot that would otherwise have cost them money, and gives you an opportunity to take advantage of that time and space that they had available for a much reduced cost and without all of the waiting. It's a brilliant way of thinking outside of the box. Everybody gets what they want in this respect. And medicine is a highly regulated industry. Another highly regulated industry, and this is just an example that I'm giving you for practice sake, insurance. Highly regulated industry. There are things you can and cannot do, and you can get fined, charged, arrested if you don't do them. I know because I was in insurance. The traditional method of insurance sales is to do what we call an in-person experiential event, where it's one-on-one. You go to their house, you've called them on the phone to set up a time for them to come into your office. You create this time and this space to talk to them one-on-one. Now, the problems that you have as an insurance agent, there are travel costs, there's time lost waiting, there's all the cold calling that you have to do to generate leads. It's a very frustrating space. For the client, they have to wait. If they have to drive there, then they have to wait in the waiting room. It's inconvenient. If someone's coming to your house and shows up, they got to clean the house. I mean, it's really inconvenient, and there can be really long lead times. You talk to them today, and they got to get back to you and set up a proposal, and it takes a lot of time. So one of the possible approaches, because the ultimate transformation that we're trying to give to a client is affordable protection against loss of what matters most. I want to be able to show you as an insurance agent how you're actually saving money by protecting the things that matter most to you with an insurance policy. I'm giving you peace of mind in a space where you don't have to worry if something were to happen. You're covered. You're taken care of. Whether that loss is a loved one or a home or a car or, your health, whatever, you're taken care of. So what are some different ways that we could deliver that same transformation without all of the problems? Well, we could do video conferencing just like Doctor on Demand. We set up a time to Skype. I've already gotten your preliminary information via email. We set up a time to talk and we just go for it. Or we do a live event where we invite a whole lot of people in. Home parties in the direct selling industry is kind of on that scale. It's a much smaller scale, but it's that kind of an idea. But Primerica, they'll do big events where they'll invite all kinds of people in and they'll lecture on the importance of estate planning or something like that that's related to making sure that you've got affordable insurance coverage in place. Or you can do what Gerber does. Gerber has a thing called the Gerber Grow Up Plan, and it's life insurance for children, and they send it in the mail. If you ever get your weekly mailer with, that collection of junk mail and newspapers that comes in the mail, almost every time you're going to find Gerber's Grow Up Plan in there. And that's how they reach their market. You fill out a card, you send it in, they send you back something in the mail. It's all done via the mail. There's nothing, they never get on a phone with you. But it's convenient. It saves the hassle of time and travel and the expense of all of that. So there are different ways to approach the delivery of whatever it is that you're trying to offer. So don't be hampered by what your traditional method may have been. In fact, now it's your turn. What I want you to do is look at what it is that you do. And what is the traditional method of delivery? How has it always been done? What have you seen done in the past, or what is being done presently? And how do you feel about that? Does that work for you? Does that not work for you? If it works for you, then great. But if it doesn't work for you, or if you've got problems with that, then you need to address that in the next step. What are the problems around the way what you offer is currently delivered? What needs to change for you and for the client? Your client, you need to understand what is your client's issue. We've spent a lot of time. What is the problem that needs to be solved? Well, how are they going to use it? You need to get clear on, is it a method they're going to consume? Will they come to an all-day, 3-day workshop? If they won't, then you probably don't want to offer it right now. If you don't have a large enough following to demand that kind of an event, I wouldn't be doing it if I were you. Maybe do a half day as a test and see how that works out and see what kind of traffic you get out of that. Once you've addressed what the problems are that need to change and you're clear in your transformation, basically you're just carrying that information over from the work we've done previously, look at what delivery methods will work for you. What are the possible ways that you can bridge that problem gap of what's not working and what needs to change to better serve your perfect fit customers? And do that in a way that works for you. Because there is a way to do both. It may require a little bit of compromise, at least at first. And we've had conversations before about premium. Starbucks can charge $5 for a cup of coffee and not everybody else can because they've developed a reputation. But if that reputation gets tarnished, they won't be able to charge that anymore. But the point here is for you to find out what method's going to work for you. And be relentless about that method. Before you start looking at 25 methods, get really good at one. Let me say that again. Get really good at one. Focus hard on one, and then you can add other tools to your tool belt as you improve your reputation.